Hey everyone, Emery99 here and welcome to the final episode of Tour de Abandon. It was a pleasure to bring this series to you guys as so many have requested, and this is it, the final episode, the team time trial and a carnage full stage in Rome. The first stage will be the team time trial from Verrucchio to San Marino, 29.2 kilometers, 18.5 kilometers in a slight downhill and then uphill to San Marino. Obviously, the teams with more riders will have a big advantage. Teams such as Alpecin-Deceuninck, UAE Team Emirates, which for Tadej Pogacar, great news. Astana, Kazakhstan, Arkea Samsic, and Bora Hansgrohe EF with also 4 riders. Little Trek, including Mats Pedersen, also with 4 riders. As Arkea Samsic team get underway, I have to note that we are probably not going to get many time checks during the stage because the PCM do not register their time until the finish line if a team is less than 4 riders, I suppose. So hopefully we get the first split of Arkea and see how it goes. Just behind Arkea is AG Duzer with 3 riders. It's also a good indicator if a team has passed another team to see the time gaps, which I think is 3 minutes between each team. First check for Arkea Samsic and Barguil's team, and we are not going to get any time indication because they are not with 5 riders, which is a big shame, but we have to see for the finish line. AG Duzer do not look bad compared to Arkea Samsic despite the man disadvantage. Obviously important to note that the final rider's time will be based on the result, not the first rider. So even though Warren Barguil is the major climber, it will be Luca Mozzato's time, I think, which he is dropped right now with 8.4 kilometers to go, will be based for the standings, which is going to be even more surprising results as we have Felix Gall already catching Mozzato, but it's not going to matter. We are only going to see Alpecin-Deceuninck's time and see Little Trek. Their final rider is Mats Pedersen and they're closing on Alpecin-Deceuninck, which is good news, but let's see how much energy does Pedersen have in these final kilometers. Tadej Pogacar is flying through the teams, but again, it's the final rider that counts, so it's not going to matter so much, even though he has enough in the tank. Currently, he caught up to EF, which started just after Tadej Pogacar's UAE. Well, why is it raining in the team time trial when it doesn't matter, when there's no crashes? Warren Barguil first one to pass, but obviously we won't be able to find out their time. Also, it's Luca Mozzato's time that will count, and Luca Mozzato still has 1.5 kilometers to go. Tadej Pogacar reaches the finish line, but his UAE teammate Soler and Hirschi still has 800 meters to go. Meanwhile, EF, I think, passed with all 4 riders, so EF has done a good job keeping in shape for this team time trial. For Hans Grohe with 4, for Bob Jungels, Danny van Poppel with 1.3 kilometers to go. Ineos, they were with 3. Pidcock and Ganna are here, but Ben Turner just a few meters behind as well. Wout van Aert and Laporte are riding as a duo, and Laporte seems to be struggling with 4 kilometers to go. Romain Bardet keeping in touch with Kevin Vermerke. They were a duo at the start, and they are still going as a duo. Great pacing by the DSM duo, as we have Harper and Durbridge for Jaco Al-Ula. They've also paced pretty well, but they're getting caught by Team DSM Firmenich. And Durbridge and Harper obviously not the greatest climbers. Harper has a good climbing stat, but not the best time trialist, as we have a great race going at 10 kilometers per hour. Bardet with DSM and Durbridge with Jaco Al-Ula. And with Calmejean reaching to the top of San Marino, it's now time to look at the results, which team gained the most and which team has lost the most. Now, the loser of the day, Victor Lafay, lost over 20 minutes in this team time trial in 29 kilometers, obviously did not have a team. Jaco Al-Ula lost 17 minutes, Durbridge and Harper not looking good. And Team Arkea Samsic, despite being 4, having Luca Mozzato meant they were one of the worst in the race today. 15 minutes 54 seconds lost. For GC favorites, Team Ineos and Tom Pidcock lost 9 minutes 42 to the leaders. Meanwhile, Astana Kazakhstan with 4, but having Mark Cavendish meant they also lose over 10 minutes. Team DSM lost 9 minutes nearly, with Roman Bardet coming clutch with Kevin Vermerke. Borohanskohe with 4, but losing again 8 minutes 56, same time as DSM. Wout van Aert and Christophe Laporte cannot beat Tadej Pogacar's team as they lose 7 minutes 53. Asher Duser loses 7 minutes 42. Meanwhile, Groupama FDJ with 3 riders 6 minutes 35. Good results from Pinot and Gaudu. Little Trek with 4 riders, they lost 4 minutes 30. Meanwhile, UAE Team Emirates and Tadej Pogacar, they lose just 3 minutes to the stage winners. Now let's check who are the stage winners. They are Alpecin de Koning with 5 riders, including Jasper Philipsen, but they've paced it nicely and they've won the stage with 5 riders, using the man advantage very well in this team time trial. EF Education came second with this result. Carapaz also may be moving a few places. Now it's time to look at the general classification. No changes in the top 4 as Tadej Pogacar extend his leads to 12 minutes with 1 stage to go. Mats Pedersen is 5th, Bob Jungels is 6th, but Mathieu van der Poel up to 7th now. Richard Carapaz 8th. Alex Gal has dropped out of the top 10, now 11th place, and Ciccone is 12th. But now it's time to look for the final stage of Tour de Abandon, stage 21 out of 21, 57 survivors, more than 110 abandons, and it all comes to this final stage, 259 kilometers from Tivoli to Roma. It's a circuit around Rome with hills, cobbles, turns and everything. For the final time, let's begin the stage. The final stage of Tour de Abandon is now underway. 57 riders in a sunny day here in Rome. A lot of climbs today, a lot of cobbled climbs today. Let's see what the results is going to be. Is it going to be a breakaway win, and will Tadej Pogacar reach the finish line to win Tour de Abandon? Oh, crash the peloton. Pedersen is down, and 29 riders including Van Aert, Pidcock and Pedersen are down in the first few kilometers. Do we have any abandons? Mats Pedersen is out, 5th place in the GC on the final stage. He is out. He has had such a good tour, and that moves Bob Jungels up to provisional 5th, with Mathieu van der Poel only 1 minute 45, 1 minute 15 behind. Mats Pedersen is our first abandon of the day. Pogacar avoids the crash and is currently settled in a good pace at the front. It's already taken the first victim, that is Mats Pedersen. Let's see what will happen. Still 233 kilometers and there's a huge crash. Bob Jungels is down, Pidcock is down, Carapaz, Barguil and Ciccone. We said he moved up to the provisional 5th place. Bob Jungels, will he abandon the Tour de Abandon? Yes, he will. The others do continue. Bob Jungels is out, and now Mathieu van der Poel up to 5th place in the general classification. Wow, 2 riders in the top 10 crashing at the early stages of the race, crashing out in fact. I was promising you for Carnage this episode already, and it has delivered right now. 9 people that have survived the crash. Van Aert and Pogacar currently together at the front. Pogacar with 3 domestiques. 229 kilometers to go. Breakaway of 12 riders, including all the names that we've seen a lot now. I mean, I think Latour is now on first name terms with most of the riders in the breakaway. Harper is here, Lafay, Campenarts, and they're starting the major difficulty of the day, Rocca di Cave, 11.2 kilometers at 6%. Next difficulty of the day now starting for the breakaway, Rocca Priora, 7.2 kilometers at 6%, but has a huge deep gradient in the second part of the climb. Breakaway have a 4-minute advantage on the second group, including the GC riders, and for the peloton they have a 9-minute advantage with 164 kilometers to go. Seems as though peloton is increasing its pace in these climbs. Campi di Annibale next up, which will be ridden 3 times, and 16 riders from the peloton are about to catch the front group and reduce the gap to the breakaway into 5 minutes. Now it's time for the long cobble sector. The breakaway is here via Appia Antica for 12 kilometers. That we will have a cobbled section. The breakaway is currently handling it well with one rider dropped and he's back now, Harper. But now, what will be the peloton's response to this? Peloton currently going through the cobbled sector via Appia Antica. Just the 10 kilometers of cobbles left now. Yves Lampard getting a puncture. No crashes so far. They're taking it easy with FDJ at the front and Pogačar in prime position to avoid a possible crash. Do we have a crash? No, just a split. We have a crash. Behind, Carapaz and Ciccone are down, but no abandons. I mean, Tour de Abandons came to a state where you can just put anything like triple Mount Fuji downhills, I don't know, Mount Everest downhills, and we'll still have no abandons. So that's what happens when there are just 50 riders left and there's a crash. Ciccone are down and he brings two riders behind. Giulio Ciccone crash we finally caught. Does he abandon though? 12th place in the GC? No, he continues. So does Thorstein Threen. A horrible last few stages for him. He's not going to be winning the KOM. Seems as though Peloton is taking it well currently. 26 riders in this group with just 2 more laps of the circuit remaining. We have attack by David Gaudu. But Pogačar currently strolling to victory at the moment. Meanwhile, in the breakaway, some attacks Campanart, Hermans, Cataneo, Bilbao. They're fighting out for the stage win with 15 kilometers to go. 7 kilometers to go and a great attack by Lilian Calmejean for the stage win here in Rome. Jorgensen turns Bilbao following Hermans and Campanart. The 6 chasing riders left at the front. Calmejean's attack, will it be enough to win the stage? Going to be a major finish, the final cobbled climb. Campidoglio, Calmejean in front, at the back Cataneo, Dylan turns, and they catch him. We have Niels Pollitt who stopped, by the way. Might be an abandon that we might have missed, but Calmejean now sprints Cataneo. Surely they're too far behind at the moment, and Lilian Calmejean wins the final stage of Tour de Abandon. Great victory for the Frenchman. And Matteo Jorgensen will come home second. Yes, Niels Pollitt do abandon, so this is the 3rd abandon this stage. Meanwhile, we got Pidcock and Pogačar taking the final few turns. They've even survived this stage. I mean, well done to him. I have nothing to do at the moment. You just have to raise your hands up for this group of 29. They will finish this stage. Obviously, the time limit is 2 hours, so no issue with that either. Tadej Pogačar will win Tour de Abandon 2023. What a victory for the Slovenian, and certainly proving the haters wrong once again. Tadej Pogačar even sprinting to lead the peloton. He surely has dominated this tour and wins the Tour de Abandon. There it is for the final time, the result screen. Lilian Calmejean wins today, 14 minutes ahead of the peloton, led by Tadej Pogačar. We had 3 abandons today, Mats Pedersen and Bob Jungels, who were in the top 6. They are out, and they are replaced by Mathieu van der Poel and Richard Carapaz, meaning Mathieu van der Poel finishes 5th. Honorable mention is Peyo Bilbao and Thibaut Pinot. They've made their way into the top 10. The points jersey has been won by Pierre Latour by 43 points. KOM won by Peyo Bilbao. The white worn by Tom Pidcock but won by Tadej Pogačar, and the team classification is won by Ineos Grenadiers. In the end, 54 riders finished the tour, and if you look at the general classification, 6 hours behind nearly. Luca Mozzato is the worst finisher, but the worst finisher is better than the one who couldn't finish. And you can see all this list right now if I'm scrolling. Out of time limits, withdrawals, We had 54 finishers, which means we had 122 abandons in Tour de Abandon. Certainly a number that I'm pleased with. Could have been a lot more, especially in this last week, but still we had good racing, great breakaway action, and a deserved winner, I must say.
But that will wrap up Tour de Abandon, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in for this past 9 episodes, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss any new videos. We already have a new video planned for next week, which is super fun to record, so I hope to see you all there. But for now, see you soon.